Hello, everyone. I'm Nolan Myers, CEO of Double GDP. We're building an end-to-end platform for new cities to connect with residents, accelerate growth, and deliver responsive public services. I'm here today to bring you a sprint update for October the 28th. So if, uh, each week we start our sprint update, or each sprint we start our update with our what we hope to achieve in our top level goals, which historically has been weekly active users. This week we switched to a new metric, new North Star metric, which will be population. I'll explain more about that later in today's update. We had a few product areas that we were working on as well: CRM and sales enablement, task management, community engagement, form submission. I'm going to leave all of these updates today to the product team, whose video is shown right after mine. Before I talk about population growth, though, I wanted to take a minute to celebrate weekly active users. This was the target line that we set for ourselves at the beginning of the year. And the goal of the weekly active users was to inspire us to build something that was useful to residents of a new city. This goal has really focused us through the course of the year and kept us thinking every week about what was going to be valuable and what would encourage people to come back to the application. One of the key realizations we had in doing that was that that one of the important things about building a new city is actually growing the population and getting people excited about buying plots, about moving in, getting that first resident, those pioneering residents into the city. So this goal has served us extremely well, but there were also some limitations. And as we thought about it, we realized that there was a much more strategic place where we could put our focus. But I do want to take a minute to just celebrate the team, say thank you for the hard work during the course of the year. This goal has been very successful, and it's nice to end it on a high note. Starting next sprint, our goal, or starting this sprint, our goal focuses on population growth. We've decided to measure this monthly. And our goal is by the end of next year to have a population of 100 across all double GDP cities. So we have a target line right now. There's no actual yet on the line. We'll start measuring at the end of October. We have some sense of where we are today, but we will actually roll that out on the next sprint. So I want to take a minute to talk about the definition of population and why I've chosen that term. We originally actually talked about residents, but the word resident actually has a lot of connotation that may mean different things in different circumstances. So I've chosen the word population because it's a well understood term in sort of looking at city size and thinking about where people are. And according to the US Census, the way they think about population is they use it as the usual residence where somebody resides, where somebody lives and sleeps most of the time. Obviously, there's a lot of complication around that in many edge cases, but using that as our guideline, that's sort of how we want to think about population as well. Note that that's not always the same as a legal residence. It's not necessarily where you vote. It's not even necessarily the location where a person might prefer to be counted. It's sort of where they live and sleep all the time. But if you can't establish one sort of primary place where somebody usually is, the U.S. Census will count it at the day where they happen to be on the location of census day. So we'll use that same definition, and that will help us align with sort of norms, at least in the U.S. And we'll learn more about how other census works in other countries, I'm sure, as we get into this goal. Why did we choose this? There are a few reasons why this was important. One, this will really focus our attention on the people who are choosing to live in a new city, understanding what their needs are, understanding their motivations, thinking really about the customers of our customer and how our application really fits into that value proposition of connecting with those residents and accelerating the growth of that city is obviously a very important part of where this will focus our attention. This focuses a little bit less on the responsive public services, though that's still a very important part of our mission. It's something that I think in the near term will come after we have people living in the cities. And also the responsive public services, we believe, will be a very important selling proposition for encouraging new people to move to the city. And so that really is very tied. We think that a big part of the strategy for growing the city is the responsive public services, but that will also reflect in population growth of the city itself. The second reason that we thought that this was a good metric is that it will grow in correlation with the size of the economies of our customers. Our mission as a company is to double the world's GDP, and that will happen as the number of people living in cities that are powered by double GDP grows. And the size of those cities will grow in correlation with their economy. It's not always going to be a perfect measure, but certainly as you think about growth of the cities, this will be increasingly important. Third is a common benchmark. Even just looking up the word and how to measure it, there are many paradigms in the industry and in the world already for talking about the size of the cities, for thinking about this. So there's a lot of norms that we can kind of align with in terms of how we will think about that. And we did think about a lot of economic indicators as potential ways that we might think about our own goals. Population, we believe, will grow in correlation with those economic indicators, but it's much easier to measure directly than those economic indicators, which can be a lot more complicated to assess. So that was our rationale. What are the levers that we have to affect this? I want to focus on 4 Ps. We have product, process, programs, and partners. From the product perspective, of course, we have an end-to-end platform, and our near-term focus will be on marketing and sales features within that platform, and that should accelerate growth of the cities, and that growth should be reflected in the population of those cities. On the process side, what this means is that we need to become experts and both on the strategies for growing new cities, but also be able to provide guidance to our partners on how to leverage the Double GDP platform and programs in order to achieve that kind of growth. The third is programs, where we already have a good, quite a good start and some new things in mind that we're going to be thinking about in the next coming months. The Artist in Residence program at Nkwashi is one that really helps bring the city alive and make it feel like a great place to live for current and prospective residents. The rewards program helps incentivize people to engage with their community and take the next step. Pioneering residents have to overcome quite a bit when they're first moving to a city. There's a lot of things that are new. And so having a rewards program is one way that we're thinking about today of helping encourage people along. And then we have plans for a Hackers in Residence program that we've not rolled out yet or not built yet. But this is really with the idea of helping to grow the economy around software development, helping residents of Nkwashi or other partners of Double GDP cities to learn the skills to get remote software engineering jobs and do that while they're taking residence in the city itself. So an exciting program with more to come over the coming weeks and months. And finally, partners. We are ready to expand our set of partners and work with new cities. We have a platform that is growing rapidly, a team that is really establishing itself, and we're learning so much about how to bring that value proposition about. We're ready to start expanding in this area, and we'll be announcing some exciting initiatives in this vein in the next sprint. So those are the levers that we're thinking about in terms of how to achieve that goal. On the next sprint, we will be focusing a lot on how to establish the benchmark for where we are and establish key steps in the pipeline that pioneering residents need to take in order to establish residence in a new city. On the product side, we'll be focusing on form design and management, workflow design, gate access and security. And we'll continue to work with Nkwashi on their product launch of the residency program, as well as announcing some artists in residence, or actually starting the next batch of the artists in residence at Nkwashi. So that's it for today. Thank you for joining, and I look forward to seeing you in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.